Hey viewers, welcome to a review of last week's battle, Battle 15B of Season 6, and we're getting a fair way through Season 6 at this stage. I did plan on having 20 battles or thereabouts. It's probably going to be a bit longer because I'm starting to deviate slightly a little bit from my original plan, but this is a review of last week's battle, and I'll just give a bit of an explanation of some of the storyline elements that I want to try and flesh out over the coming weeks. So I'll just show you what I've got as far as the board goes. So it's a pretty mundane sort of board, really. I think it's just really a section of our dungeon that we've got, which has just got this area in the middle with a bit of a campfire going on in here, where our group, the plan was that our group over here, forget about that demon princess thing there, our group of heroes here have somehow captured our cultist that you've probably seen running around the caverns, the dungeons I should say, over the previous weeks, and they're interrogating him. Well, our new Inquisitor is this guy at the front here, who's part of the Ordo Chronos, which is a very irregular type of Ordos, to do with time travel, if anyone hasn't guessed where I'm getting to as far as this season goes. But anyway, so he's sitting here at the campfire interrogating his witness, and somehow he manages to get loose. Haven't quite worked that part out yet, but he's going to try and open a portal somewhere on the board, maybe over this side somewhere, and out of that portal it's going to open, and out come a bunch of salamanders who are fighting some world eaters. So these are obviously, 30k armies, so we're sort of spanning millennia as far as units go, but the idea is there's units between space and time that this cultist can sort of manipulate. So it opens the portal just here, they come out, a few words get exchanged, and that's going to be our kill team battle, just with these guys, and these ones down here. So you'll get a closer look at that, or you probably would have seen it last week, but anyway. So then I guess the cultists will escape and our heroes will continue deeper into the dungeon. Now as we get lower into the dungeon, some of the boards will change, so I'll move from this mat here, which I really like. This mat, this is for anyone who hasn't got one, if anyone can read that. Deep Cut Studio, there you go, it's like a little mouse pad thing. So there you go, that's a little impromptu review. I like it. But then I'm going to move on to like boards, like, I don't know if you can see this one here, but I've used it in the past. It's like a dungeon sort of cavern type thing where they'll go in amongst that, and I've got a few extra surprises as far as terrain goes. Anyway, I won't give too many more spoilers. That is the board that we're going to use, so we'll do a review as the turns progress. Okay, so I have finished the introduction at this stage. We had our heroes come walking down this corridor here, spot that fire, and then sit around and have a bit of a discussion around that. Meanwhile, our cultist was just happened to be lurking around here and was discovered, and then got interrogated by the Inquisitor here. Like I said a minute ago, he managed to pop open a couple of portals, and out came the Salamanders and World Eaters. And then as our heroes looked at the portal, the cultists ran out down through this corridor here. Heroes followed, and then the board is set up. So we've got Salamanders on this side and the World Eaters on the other side. So like it's a kill team battle, so it's a relatively small board, very bloodthirsty. We've got a couple of dreadnoughts sitting in there who are going to cause a lot of damage, and lots of Space Marines, so we'll see how it goes. Welcome to Battle 15B, turn 1 coming up shortly. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 1, and we had the World Eaters get the proceedings off. We had the Dreadnought lead the way up the flank here, followed by the Terminator with lightning claws. A Bolter Marine staying at the top of this little stair section here. They all fired upon that Terminator hiding behind that little brick area there, using that as cover. Didn't take them out. Up this side we had the Spawn lead the charge. That was fired upon by, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But we had the plasma fire from there. We had some covering fire on the side here. The rest have got melee weapons, so those two fired upon the Terminator up the top here. No real casualties, but you know, there's a lot of melee weapons for the Chaos side, so they'll want to close the gap pretty quick. Then the poor Spawn here was fired upon by Dreadnoughts. There's some plasma fire from the Chaplain over the side there. And this one over here, this Terminator fired upon this guy with a big axe, but didn't take him out. So no casualties. Oh no, we've only got the one Spawn being the casualties. Everyone's going to join up and start hacking each other next turn, so we'll see how that rolls out. Turn 2 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of turn 2. The Salamanders got the start, and we had this Terminator with the hammer there charge into the Marine with the axe, and we'll get back to that in a minute. We had the Dreadnought in the middle come in trying to take a position there to fire upon what was sitting over there. All the Terminator and the Dreadnought was back there, but didn't really eventuate. These guys got charged in the end by that Marine there, who was basically bait, died straight away, but it stopped the firing on whatever was back there. We had this Marine back here take a position and fire upon this guy up here. They're just duking it out together, and this guy over here is doing the same. Bang bang, no one's dead. I had the Librarian basically reinforce, take a defensive position there, assisting this unit here, because we thought the other Dreadnought was going to engage, but that ran around the side and took out the other Terminator. So that was no good for the Terminators, for the Salamanders I should say. Chaplain and the other Marine here tried to just pin a shot around the corner here on that Terminator with lightning claws, so he's lurking behind there ready to slice and dice when he gets the chance. So these guys are sitting here ready to fire upon them when they're up there, but not to be. So over here, back onto this unit again. These 3 units for the World Eaters basically charged in, reinforced this combat, and even though they lost the axe guy, they took out the hammer guy. So probably a win for the World Eaters there, with 2 Terminators going out. I suppose whose Dreadnought's going to go down first will be a key moment in this battle, but we'll just have to wait and see. So pretty even at this stage. That is turn 2. We'll see what happens in turn 3. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 3, and the World Eaters got the run on things and took on the Salamanders. So we had these 2 units here. They were back here, charged in and engaged this guy. Our standard bearer broke off here and engaged the Dreadnought and that mob there. Basically that was a sacrifice, so because all that together probably would not have overcome the Dreadnought there, so sacrificed him, allowed these guys to come out this side, take him out. This dude here shot through there, taking on the Librarian, who fired back a psychic attack, taking him out. Over this side, we've got bolted dude up the back there. Couldn't really do anything. There was no real targets there. There was a dreadnought here, but it was obscured by the fire, and he was in combat. Over this side, we had the dreadnought here, charge in and take out one marine. Lightning Claws Terminator came around that corner and engaged the chaplain there, but chaplain holding firm as they do. So overall, pretty evenly balanced. Maybe the World Eaters with an upper edge. Anyway, we'll wait and see what happens in turn 4. Here's some action from turn 4. We had the Salamanders get the jump on things. We had our chaplain was up here in combat with the Terminator, withdrew, offering himself as bait for the dreadnought, because that dreadnought's going to rampage through everything, pretty much like this one over here. We had a group in the middle. There was these two guys and the guy with the sword there, or the middle. These two went off and took out this guy here, dreadnought again, doing what this one is doing over here. Sooner or later they're going to face off. We had this guy here with a sword charge the Terminator there. They have an ongoing battle. This guy with the bolter here was up on that little ledge there, came up here, couldn't really get a shot at anything, so he's just sitting there beside the fire, keeping nice and warm. And over here we had the librarian, which was just behind that pillar there, come hide here, and then he got assaulted from this other melee marine here, so that combat is ongoing. So overall, 2 dreadnoughts still controlling the battlefield. Which one goes down first will probably decide this battle. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got turn 5 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of turn 5, and the Salamanders have got the upper hand. We had the World Eaters get the start, and the dreadnought tried to jam in the back there and help take out this marine with the sword there. It was bait again. The bolter guy was couldn't be bothered firing upon the dreadnought. Its arm was too thick, so just engaged in the melee just there with the Terminator. They obviously overkilled that guy, but then the dreadnought basically found a gap through there, took out the dreadnought on the other side. Over here, our World Eater that was sitting up here basically came around just to, I don't know, open up the area, I guess, but they were assaulted by the standard bearer for the Salamanders, so they are still fighting away. So dreadnought down on the World Eater's side and a marine for the Salamanders, but we'll see what this dreadnought can do here, because they can take out quite a few enemies in one go. Anyway, turn 6 coming up shortly. Okay, that's the end of turn 6, and that's the end of our battle. At the end of the day, this melee over here didn't get resolved. They ended up just duking it out but not killing each other. The dreadnought charged in, took out the minor marine, they're the bolter marine, and these guys just continued to battle. So overall we have the Salamanders winning. The storyline component from last week would have had our Terminator for the World Eaters basically head back through the warp. We'll be seeing those guys again perhaps. And now the Salamanders will move into the next stage of being inside Myth Dravor. So look, at this stage we've got our band of heroes that came out through this side of the board. We'll reconnect with those guys shortly in a future battle, and we'll start getting into the lower dungeons of this narrative campaign. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.